Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. Neil, we can see you coming. Okay, I just checked. Getting back up to that first step. That isn't collapsed too far, but it's adequate to get back up. Roger, we copy. It's a pretty good little jump.
The recording you hear is from the Apollo 11 mission, Day 5, which was on July 20th, 1969. Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins became the first men to land on the moon, with Armstrong taking the first step, and for 3 hours after that, Neil and Buzz would have a field day doing astronaut stuff on the moon while Mike was benched in the lander. I figured it'd set the tone for this painting. I probably shouldn't put my paint there. Anyway, apropos to what was said on the moon, Armstrong later clarified that his famous quote was actually, "That's one small step for a man," with the misquote making the words man and mankind synonymous with each other. So that indefinite article definitely makes a difference. Consider again the false quote, and it essentially becomes, "That's one small step for humanity, one giant leap for humanity." It's just not how we speak. So if we want to do right by this historic moment and also make good by Neil Armstrong's intellect, we ought to say, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." Yeah, I'm just trying to get the light to the brightest setting. I'll show you why in a minute. Just okay, all right. I think I got it. I think that should be good. Alright, so remember the circle? That's what the light is for. If we put the light underneath the canvas and it's barely... okay. We can't really see the circle. We'll fix that in a minute. Give me a second. There we go. A lot more accentuate that circle, and now we'll be ready to start. We just trace the circle, the circumference, ever so patiently and slowly, just to make sure we got that shape down. Oh, I tell you, this is very relaxing, actually. It doesn't look like a lot because it's just one thing, but, and then I had to turn the light back on. In retrospect, I would have put more blue and mixed that with the white so it's not so hard on the image, because then I had to take some off, and now it turns into a finger painting, which I'm not complaining about. I think it's a good deal of fun. But I can't be bothered to show you the rest, mostly because I'm not really a fan of how it looked. But that's okay. Hey, remember circle? Well, this go around we're using the circle for something a little different because we're going to be adding lights. My favorite thing about space is the vast contrasts between light and dark, and then you wonder about the twinkle in these twinkling little stars, and how they existed long before we learn what they are. Up above the world so high, so far from Earth and beyond the sky, and as this light reaches us, that star may have died. Even our brightest minds couldn't figure out why, for the life of them, how the universe came to be. But we had an idea. We had a theory. Still cannot explain what's been observed in the void, since we've learned that matter can't be created or destroyed. So how did we come to see with our own eye the frivolous diamonds that float in the sky? Could just be that we as humans aren't wise to many things, like how peasants aren't wise to the wealth of their kings. So we ought to accept that it's not in our nature to know the stars' role, and if we should be wise to anything, it's that we're not the ones in control. Now I have a circle of light. Zip tie here, zip tie there. Bible. Hello, sun. Snip ties. Snip, snip. Now we have the sun. LED B-roll. So now we have the meat of this piece sorted. The light will simulate sunlight when everything is put together. Also, do you realize how perfectly put together our solar system is? Let me show you something. Consider the relationship our moon has with Earth compared to other planets and their satellites. Let's call our moon Luna. If we compare Luna to the proportions of the moon known as Ganymede and its parent planet, Jupiter, and sure I misspelled Ganymede, but at least I pronounced it right, there's a big difference here. And then look at every other planet in their largest moons. Titan and Saturn, Titania and Uranus, Larissa and Neptune, Phobos and Mars, and recall Luna and Earth. And how our moon is so abnormally large relative to its parent planet, yet so central to life on Earth. Its placement, size, and very existence is so miraculously meticulous in every way, it's hard to believe that there is no deliberation behind its creation, that it's an accident. And then you realize that the sun's diameter is 400 times greater than the moon, but also 400 times further away. If one of these variables were off by a little, we wouldn't have a solar eclipse. How perfect. Now our glue gun's hot, so we can go ahead and glue the LEDs to the cardboard back. The material this divider is made out of is really good for diffracting light, so we're going to also glue this to the cardboard back so the lights don't come through too harshly on the canvas. But before any of that, we got to cut out a little rectangle for the battery pack to sit in. That's not going to work out, so I think a knife would suffice. And that did the trick. Alright, so now we have a good little spot for a battery pack, making sure I didn't cut any wire. And there goes the divider. Making sure everything fits in snugly. And once I'm sure I got everything exactly where I needed it to be, I'm going to glue in the divider. Glue there, glue here, glue there, glue everywhere. And now we can get ready, put everything together. We're almost finished, and at this point it's only a matter of applying a few adhesives. First adhesives will be tape. Done. Now we add Velcro to the battery pack, and that's just glued right to the back. Done. And making sure it's snug and fixed inside, and we can call it done.
What an immense feat this is. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world. It inspires us to redouble our efforts to bring peace and tranquility to earth.